What's going on YouTube? This is Destiny Heroic. I'm coming at you with a deck profile today. First of all, my apologies for not posting anything in the last couple months, I guess it is. Semester's been pretty brutal on me, but I hope to start posting more videos more often now that it's finished. So, I've got Bujins for you today, and this is going to be January 2014 format. So this is what we'll be going into the format. This is the deck that I'll be going into the format with. Obviously it'll be subject to change as the meta develops. So first of all, we've got 3 Bujin Yamato. He's the guy you want to get as soon as possible. If you don't get him, then triple Mikazuchi is almost as good, not quite as good, but he'll let you buy a couple turns until you can draw into your Yamato. So these are the Beast Warriors in the deck so far. This is pre-Legacy of Valiant. The lineup will probably change up once we get Arasuta. But basically, Yamato you want to keep out as long as possible. He'll set up your hand and your graveyard so that he can stay on the field. And Mikazuchi, if Yamato should die, Mikazuchi will take his place so you can hold the field. And once you start discarding Bujins, he is able to look for your spells and traps that can allow you to hold the field. So, triple Crane. There's a lot of strategy in showing your opponent a Crane so that they know what's in your hand, so then they know they have to get around Yamato some other way. And it's really good if you have a Mikazuchi, because if they try to destroy it with a card effect, you can just drop the Mikazuchi and you still have the Crane. Also, a single Honest, because everything in the deck is light, so we might as well. Triple Turtle. The value of Turtle, I learned, is probably one of the most important Bujinjis in the deck, next to Crane. Because there are a lot of targeted answers to clearing Bujins, and you just have to have... It's really good to have multiples of these things at the ready so that you can stop those effects, particularly in the mirror match. 2 Quillins. This lets you pop a face-up monster or face-up anything. It's just a quick answer to bigger monsters, particularly things like Colossal Fighter and Stardust Spark Dragon. And it can force a Felgrand Knight to target himself with his effect so that you can go through your turn. Single Centipede. This can help reduce an opponent's back row if they set a lot of it. Typically your turtles are enough to deal with back row though. And I mentioned Colossal Fighter, so I'm running a single Bujinji Crow. If they drop the Colossal Fighter, then your Honest and your Cranes are not going to be nearly as good. This will stop an attack from a Colossal Fighter. It will also trigger Mikazuchi, and it will protect your Yamato. So that's the monster lineup. Into spells, like I said, it's January 2014, so we're running triple Tenki. Obviously, you run as many Tenkis as you can get, because all your main guys are Beast Warriors, and the deck doesn't function without the Beast Warriors. And by the same token, triple Duality. That will let you search your Tenkis, search your Beast Warriors, and if you already have all that, it'll put a Bujinji into your hand to prepare for the next turn. Triple Kaiser. The deck is all about getting one guy on the board and then holding that position for the game. So Kaiser Coliseum works perfectly in the deck. There's so much synergy, it's great. Having a Kaiser and a single Beast Warrior out will prevent your opponent from synchro summoning. And now that Dragon Rulers are not quite as much of a thing, it'll be very difficult for them to put a free large monster on the field. So Kaiser is a really great card. double MST. Your Bujinjis are typically enough to deal with your spell and traps. So, but having 2 Typhoons helps deal with the problem cards, like Necro Valleys are a big problem. Gravekeepers are a huge problem for this deck. So being able to pop the Necro Valleys is really good. Defensive spell, Book of Moon. In the last format, this was really good because Dragon Rulers would play trap stuns and disable most of your back row. So having a non-trap defensive card was really useful. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. The reason I run Foolish is A, to put whatever Bujinji you need in your graveyard at the time, and B is to drop a turtle before you drop a Yamato, because a first turn Constellar Pleiades is a very big problem if you're trying to set up and you're going second. So this lets you drop the turtle and then drop the Yamato, and they won't be able to target it with their effect. Single Bujin Carnation. This is a very tricky card for an opponent to deal with. What I like to do is search for it off of Mikazuchi, and so if the opponent sees it, they know it's coming. If they clear your field, they'll play defensively, or they'll leave your Beast Warriors alone, which is good either way for what you're trying to do. Into the traps now. Trap lineup is pretty basic. For one-ofs, a single Mirror Force, Warning, and Compulse. These are just standard defensive cards. Single Emptiness. I don't know what this next format is going to bring, so Emptiness might switch out to the side deck. But with triple Mikazuchi and sometimes wanting to do a Exceed Summon in this deck, I felt that Vanities at 2 was a little bit too much. Double Fiendish Chain. Again, it's a defensive card. This really helps in the mirror match to disable their Yamato if they don't have a turtle yet. 2 Bujin Regalia, the sword. This is a search off of Mikazuchi. It's also a surprise second shot at using a crane during the opponent's turn. So if they swing at your Yamato and you drop the crane, they only think you have 1. This can put it back in your hand. It can also put the Yamato back in your hand if he dies somehow. And if you drop a Mikazuchi after a Yamato dies, this puts the Yamato back in your hand. Having a Yamato and a Mikazuchi on the field is a really good combo, because you'll set up something in your hand and graveyard, and then Mikazuchi will trigger and let you search for this, and it just gives you a lot of advantage. So my final trap is a single copy of 7 Tools. Like I said, Trap Stun was a big problem for this deck, so I needed a card specifically to stop traps. And if it wasn't traps, if it wasn't Trap Stun, then it was Return from the Different Dimension, because that was just a kill switch for this deck. It was a kill switch for any deck, really, and I needed a way to stop it. So again, depending on this format, this might switch out for something else. So into the extra deck. Triple Susanwo. This guy is probably what you'll be making most. If you don't draw into your Yamatos or your Mikazuchis, and all you have are Bujinjis, then your first couple turns will be spent grinding into this guy, so you can search for your pieces. And he's a Beast Warrior too, so the deck functions as long as you have a Beast Warrior up. And then there's 2 Kagetsuchis. I really like this guy. A lot of people will poo-poo him, but I really like him. Send the top 5 cards of your deck to the graveyard, and then he protects Beast Warriors from 2 destructions. And he's a tank. So this is really good against a deck that is having a hard time dealing with Bujins. If you're looking for a late game power player, then this is the guy for you. This is like dropping a what's it called, Heraclinos in Glad Beast late game, where they don't have a lot of answers. Really, the only way to get rid of this guy right away is to either bounce him or banish him. And like he will live through an attack, and he's got all the Bujinji cards to protect him and stuff too. So he's very hard to get rid of. The rest of the deck you don't really use all that much. One Dweller. This guy might come out depending on what becomes popular in the next format. Tiger King, Beast Warriors, search as a Tenki. Omega, everything is light, so he comes in pretty easily for the same reason. Paladynamo. Dire Wolf lets you pop things, and he's just a generic level 4. My Stroke. He's really good because he can, if you're running low on cards, you can make him and survive for a few turns. Black Ship is an answer to other Bujin decks. If he will kill a Yamato if they don't have a turtle, or force them to burn the turtle. Cowboy you probably make every now and then because the 800 finisher is just so natural in this deck. And finally, one copy of Ice Beast Zero Fine. I really like this thing. You can only make it with Wing Beasts, but there are 4 in the deck, 5 if you choose to run Zephyros. And this is an answer to a surprising number of cards. Like, if Noble Knights become popular, then an Artorigus with 5 equips on it, preventing it from being targeted or destroyed, and putting its attack at 3,700 is extremely difficult for Bujins to deal with. This, if you can bring this out, this will not only negate Artorigus' effect, it will negate every face-up card on the field, which will be all of their equips. And he will jump up to some huge number. So this is your answer to Noble Knights, and there's a lot of other decks that give Bujins a problem. This can disable a Necro Valley if you can manage to get it on the field. So it's just a really good card as a backup plan. And you can usually make this by using the Bujin Carnation if you somehow have a banished Wing Beast, or just a Wing Beast in your graveyard and a banished turtle or something, because you can still normal summon during the turn. Alright, so that is the deck. Like I said, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing with my channel. I don't have a lot of opportunities to do my real life videos anymore. So I'm still trying to decide what I want to do. But I am going to be posting videos nonetheless, whether they're just deck profiles or a random real life duel or something like that. But as far as this deck is concerned, let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite card, your favorite Bujin card from Legacy of the Valiant is going to be, what you're most excited about. Also, if you want to suggest other decks for me to build, I have a few going. I can do Harpies, I can do Noble Knights. I have Noble Knights, and I'm working on Cyber Dragons. So when all that stuff happens, I'll probably do a video anyway. But in the meantime, let me know what you think of this one, and thanks for watching. Peace.